time to dilly-dally?
Hey guys, Boy here, and this is things I learned with PieLieDie's Dark Willow. The first thing I want you to notice is how he approaches this room. See how he was under no vision close to Roshan and then he walks towards this tree? This is especially useful in lower Mars where people just AFK to Facebook while standing in the high ground. Anyways, they get the rune anyways, the enemy was actually paying attention. What I want to touch upon is how he trades hits in this lane. Shadow Shaman is one of the best traders thanks to his average armor and huge base damage, but Willow has amazing DAT and slightly better attack range. But the biggest game changer here is the fact that this is position 4 Dark Willow versus position 5 Shadow Shaman. This new talisman changes the trades completely and they can actually trade evenly. If you create a lobby, you will see that they deal the same DPS pretty much, even though Shadow Shaman's base damage is still bigger. And Pie makes sure to harass as much as possible. We will talk a lot about Bramble's placement, but note where Pie clicks to block DK's advances here. Whenever you click your Bramble maze, there will be 4 Brambles spaced in a circle pattern, each Bramble spawning 90 degrees away from each other. And he always uses this knowledge to block people when they commit to certain spots. This ends up repelling DK completely. Eventually Pie goes bottom, but notice once more how he doesn't cast Brambles randomly. He waits until Earth Spirit commits to a spot, and then knows for sure he'll be able to block him by clicking slightly to the left of where he's going. When Slahser goes back, look how much damage Pie is dealing without casting any spells. This is the power of position 4 Dark Willow and having an early new talisman. Usually you see position 5 Willow with something like Luna, but this works wonders as well. Later on, Dire commits, and notice how harder it is to land your Brambles. Pie does block the other path, but only when he knows for sure that Slahser won't die, he commits the Shadow Realm, sealing the deal. When Pie heals, look how he TPs outside of vision, asks his team to commit, and seeing that Slahser is chasing someone back, clicks here to cast Brambles, and this secures 1 root on Slahser, since there will be a Bramble on the right side of where he clicked. Shadow Realm is enough to get the last hit, and while Earth Spirit gets away beautifully, he makes sure to lay down as much damage as possible. When he goes to gank OD here, there's a lot of stuff to mention. First, he waits until Shadow Fiend is out of the Astral. Then he lays the Curse Crown, but he doesn't cast Brambles. Usually when Dire make heroes run away, they try to use the tree spot to hide. And knowing that, Pie waits for him to run towards that direction and casts Brambles right on top of the tower. This creates 4 Brambles around the tower, meaning easy kill for the Radiant heroes, and just makes Dire's fight super hard. Eventually Pie finds a double damage rune, and pay attention how he plays it. There's probably no support in the game that can be as scary with a double damage early on. He was setting up, but Earth Spirit engages first. Note how he doesn't Shadow Realm at the start. What he does is block the easiest path for Dire to get away, then as OD waits for the Astral, he uses Curse Crown, and that's one easy kill. He commits the Shadow Realm afterwards, and since Earth Spirit felt like he could engage, that's just an easy kill too.
Well, here we are, back in the hot, muggy streets of New York.
With that triple, Pie can easily scale, so he finishes Trankles, buys a bunch of Clarities to have sustain, and as he goes top again, look how he doesn't show, and uses the Creep Wave moving to engage closer and closer to Slahser. His Brambles were slightly late, and even though the last one was nicely positioned, this was a hard kill. Knowing that his Doom was far in front, notice how he doesn't disengage, but uses that time to pretty much right-click Shadow Shaman down as he disengages from Slahser. He pretty much solo kills that hero with right-clicks, and later disengages as Earth Spirit comes. Thanks to having so many points in Shadow Realm, he has enough damage to enable the melodic damage, and they get another one. Thanks to his build, he doesn't need to leave the lane. In fact, he makes sure that Radiant has no vision of him warding first and wards later, and with those Clarities he gets back to almost full HP and mana to re-engage. When he goes in, notice how he clicks slightly to the right of Shadow Shaman. He knows he'll run towards that direction and a Bramble will be there. This sets up everything else. Easy. He makes sure to de-aggro here. And knowing that he's 7-0, he TPs back to base, since a Slahser kill is not worth what he can give up if he dies. He decided to go mid since a fight is brewing there, and look how he approaches the fight. He clicks just at the start of the stairs. This creates two almost impossible to dodge brambles, holding both OD and DK at the same time. That's just beautiful. He knows that Curse Crown will be dodged with Astro, so he just Shadow Realms and ults afterwards, getting a kill on Shadow Shaman. Even though OD is low HP, he got Fire Breath, so it's very unlikely that he has enough damage to keep chasing, and instead, as Slahser TPs in, he terrorizes an impossible to dodge spot, saving Doom. He eventually finds an Invis rune, and thanks to the ward he places, stalks OD towards a medium camp. Notice how perfectly Pie plays here. He commits Curse Crown only, then when the casks start flying out, setting up the crown, he goes for Battle, since he doesn't want OD dodging that damage, and while he Astros at the end, look how he clicks just to the left of the Astro to set up the Brambles, leaving no room for OD to get out. The strengths of Dark Willow just keep showing up during this game. Earth Spirit is here, and with a quick Curse Crown, notice how Pie waits until it procs to cast Shadow Realm and Battle, which secures the kill instantly. As that tower falls, Pie was setting up once more, and when Shadow Shaman appears, he can always Battle Shadow Realm, and that works as a disengage at the same time. It's interesting to see the focus that Pie had in Clarities. He bought at least 8 until this point of the game, and when he was low on mana, he would always TP back to base, buy more Clarities, and then go back to a lane and repeat. Willow's mana curve is very prohibitive, and by playing to its strengths, Pie is always ready to fight and has so many kills. He smokes with Shadow Fiend towards the Raging Ritsu, and that's an easy one. Dire tries to defend their tier 2, and when OD is here, Pie knows that he cannot commit anything besides the Curse Crown, since OD will dodge it. Afterwards though, that's an easy setup for the Brambles, and he goes with Battle. The enemy is able to force out, and notice how Pie doesn't chase. Willow is super squishy, especially after Shadow Realm is down, so he goes towards the right to land a beautiful Terrorize that sets up the Death Ward. DK and Earth Spirit died, and Pie was one Dark Willow buff away of killing Ritsu as well. When the fights died down a little bit, Pie made sure to farm the waves that were free, and he would never Shadow Realm creeps, since that's his cape. The only skill he used to farm waves again and again and again was Battle with Veil. Eventually, Pie has to TP top to fight, and while his Shadow Fiend dies and Pie has no mana, note how he decides to go high ground to dodge some of the ward damage. Pretty crispy. Once more, it's clear how much he values the Clarities and being free around the map to push waves. With level 2 Battle, he can farm even more effectively while also finishing the U Scepter. He doesn't wait for it to get ready though. He pings the shit out of Dire, then as he goes in with Curse Crown, note where he uses the Brambles in a way to stop anyone from going to the trees. With Veil Shadow Realm, that's just too much damage, and somehow PieLieDie was able to win this game without dying once. I guess that goes to show how good this hero is. Kappa. Fight's over. He goes with his team to Shrine and repeat. The low cooldown on all its abilities make Dark Willow one of the scariest supports because of how strong it is at all stages of the game. The only thing that holds her back is mana, and that's why you go U Scepter and why you carry so many Clarities the entire game. He solo Shrines, Bramble mazes perfectly onto the Astro, sets up Curse Crown with views and Terrorize to make sure OD doesn't Astro himself, and this is pretty much game over. Ritsu gets so tilted that he feeds himself to Roshan, and even at this stage where the game is pretty much over, Pie doesn't stop the Clarity usage at all. Well guys, this wraps up for today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. That's the only way to really know if you are enjoying the videos. This video is sponsored by Pvgna. They have a huge library of videos that will definitely increase your MMR if you actually take your time and learn a little bit about it. Want to know what's happening with my life? Follow me on Twitter. Want to watch some crispy casts or me playing Dotes? Follow me on Twitch. Want to get a spoiler about next video? Follow me on Instagram. I always post some spoilers there. If you want to talk with people that love Dota and you're a crispy boy, join our Discord channel. Hope you got a glimpse of what it is to play Dark Willow, and that's it. Bye.